Cyberpunk Edgerunners, a masterpiece of a show. And I know that word gets thrown out a lot these days, but it really is a masterpiece. I recently watched it about 2 to 3 months ago, and I find myself thinking about this show, whether it be the song of a specific episode or just thinking about the show in general. It's left a pretty big impact on me, as silly as that may sound. It's one of those shows that comes out of nowhere and just completely blows you away. And don't worry, this video is not going to have any spoilers for those of you who haven't watched the show. So don't worry, there's not going to be any spoilers. I'm just going to go over the reasons why I think this show is such a great masterpiece of a show. So without further ado, like I said, even though I watched this show about 3 months ago, and this show actually came out in September of last year, but it's one of those shows that just is different. You can just tell right away. You know those shows that after it ends, you're like thinking about it months later? This is one of those shows. It just has such beautiful... It's such a beautiful series in all aspects. All the core aspects that make a great story. Art, music, story, characters themselves, music. Every little thing is checked off for this show. But the standouts for me are the music and the story, obviously. Those are the two standouts. The music in this show, I don't exaggerate, is some of the best music I've ever seen incorporated in a show. And the music actually comes from the video game, Cyberpunk. And I'm glad that they decided to use that music for this show because it just blends in so nicely. Whether it's a specific scene or just setting the ambience of a specific episode, the music is done so beautifully and so well that it just adds another dimension to the show. Great music can take an already great story and just elevate it to that next level. You know, something that comes to mind is Interstellar by Christopher Nolan. Already a great movie with great acting and great characters, great storyline. But the music in that movie is so incredible, and it just takes that movie from good to great. So the music is the standout. Like I said, it's some of the best music I've ever heard in a show or in a video game. It just, it's so beautiful, honestly. And obviously the other standout is the storyline. Even though the show is only a few episodes long, the story is so well done that it feels like you watched 30, 40 episodes of a show. It's just so well structured and paced, so well organized with, you know, the certain points, key points in the story, just so masterfully executed that, like I said, it feels like you watched 30 episodes, 40 episodes of this show, and it feels like you've been watching it for a while. You just get so immersed into the world and into the storyline that you feel a part of the show. Which leads me to the main character, right? David Martinez is the main character. And he's such a likable, down-to-earth main character that you just can't help but root for, you know? You're rooting for him all the way through the show. And he's one of the best characters that I've ever seen in a show. You know, there, aside from David, there's other characters that just add that extra dimension to the show. Kind of like in Breaking Bad, even though the story revolves around Walter White, there's so many good characters on the side, Saul Goodman, Jesse Pinkman, that just elevate the show even higher. You're gonna get, if you haven't watched the show, it's gonna lead you down a rabbit hole, and you're gonna want to investigate more about the cyberpunk world. I had no idea about this incredible franchise. After I watched the show, you know, I found myself diving into the video game and just listening to the soundtrack, listening to the music, learning about the lore behind the game. And it's such an incredible game. So this is definitely the series, to me, the best series that I've seen this year. New series that I've seen this year. And I highly recommend it if you haven't watched it. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.